Hi everyone! My name is Elizabeth and I play the oboe. The oboe is a member of the double reed family or the woodwind family. Like many other instruments, we need lots of air to play it. And where do we get our air? Well, that's what I'm going to share with you today. Behind me, you'll see two pictures of our bodies. And we're standing side on like this. In this picture here, we have our body, our head and our back and our stomach. That's the yellow part. And the red here is our throat. So we have air coming in from our nose and air coming in from our mouth. Below that, in this purple area, that's our lungs. And that's where all our air goes when we breathe in. In real life, our lungs are not purple, but for my diagrams today, I wanted to use some color. This white area here, I bet you know what that is. That's our rib cage. Our ribs surround our body and protect our lungs and other internal organs. Below our lungs is a very special muscle. It's green. It's green today, but not green in our bodies. It's called the diaphragm. The diaphragm is very special because we cannot control it with our brains. The diaphragm works when we breathe in. So, how does the air come into our bodies? Well, first we breathe in, and this blue arrow, that's going to be our air. And our air travels down into our lungs. And as we breathe in, our lungs expand, they get bigger, which then causes our rib cage to grow as well. Now our rib cage is very tricky, because in our body, it's a bone. Bones are very hard to move. But where our rib cage is, when we breathe in, it moves up like this. So let's pretend that this hand is your back, and this is your front. And as we breathe in, it grows and opens up a little bit. This allows for our lungs to expand. Now, this is where it gets tricky. As we breathe in, that little special muscle moves. When we're not breathing, it looks like a frown, an upside down frown. So, on my left here, I have another picture, and you see our green diaphragm right here. It's in a frown. It doesn't move. But when we take in our air, it flattens out. It flexes. So pretend my hand's right here. That is our diaphragm. We're not breathing right now. When we take in our air, it flexes and pushes down. How about I demonstrate when I breathe, and I'll show you what happens to my body. So I'm going to put my hands up here on my rib cage. My rib cage is right up here. I'm going to take a deep breath and make sure you watch my stomach. It got bigger, like a big balloon. And when I breathe out, it goes in. Because my lungs are expanding and pushing down on my diaphragm, my tummy tends to move out. Don't get confused and think that we breathe from our stomachs. We don't. We breathe with our lungs. So on our picture, we see the air coming in. And look at this, we're going to call this a man today. See the man's belly and how big it is? That's because of all his air, like what I just showed you. And on this side, we can see that the air is traveling out of our bodies. That's what was happening when we play our instruments. And this body is small again, and our rib cage is smaller. So, with that in mind, how do we play the oboe? So, let's get started. So, I'm going to play my oboe for you now. I still have lots of air left over. That's because I'm taking lots of air in and supporting my breath. Watch again while I breathe. Now, you did not see my shoulders move or my neck. One more time. Now I'm going to stand up and show you. So, that's how I breathe when I play the oboe, which is the correct way. Sometimes we get confused when we first start an instrument, and we often breathe from incorrect places. Some places that we might breathe from could be up in our chest. And yes, our lungs are a little bit higher, but the problem is when we breathe in and use our chest, we're creating pressure in the wrong place. And for oboe especially, when we have pressure in the wrong place, it hurts our head. And sometimes can create a funny sound in your throat, which we don't want. So to avoid that, when you breathe in, you always have to think down. So I'm going to sit now and show you. Sitting up nice and tall, we need our proper playing position with a nice flat back. So I'm breathing in, watch my belly. My neck or my shoulders did not move. If I was breathing in correctly, it might look like this. And I feel so much tension here. Tension is not a nice feeling. Sometimes it makes us feel bad. So again, let's try. Let's take in a deep breath, like there's all this air or sparkles that we're gonna suck in. We're gonna suck it all in. So we need a little bit of an open mouth when we breathe in. Let's try that again. We're gonna breathe in, hold it, and let it out slowly. Remember to let your belly expand like a big balloon. Now, if you need some help trying that, pause the video and try it on your own. Now we're gonna move on. So, I'm playing the oboe today, but if you play another instrument like the flute or trumpet, or you sing, you can try this the very same way. So let's pick up our instrument. Pick your favorite note. Deep breath in. Now, because I took in a deep breath and supported it, I'm able to sustain my notes. Sustaining means holding them for a very long time. And I don't get tired. I don't lose my breath. Another important thing for when you play the oboe is that you do play with lots of pressure. I mentioned that word earlier. Pressure is what makes our air go fast. And if you look into my little tiny reed, the opening isn't very big. So I'm going to send lots of air through that. That can be hard. So we need pressure. And the pressure comes from supporting our air. And our air is supported when our lungs expand and push down on our diaphragm. But remember, we can't control our diaphragm. Our lungs do. Our lungs push down on it, and that's what makes it flex. Flexing our diaphragm pushes down on our bellies and makes it big. So next when you play, especially if you're playing the oboe, I want you to breathe in and push down as your air is going out. Try not to let your tummy go in as much, because when I breathe regularly without my oboe, I'll show you again. My tummy moves in a little tiny bit, but not very much. As my air comes out of my body and travels out, I'm still thinking down, down, down. And that allows me to play a little bit more comfortably, because when I was a little oboe, I had a hard time with pressure in my head. It was because I was not using my breathing mechanism properly. I'm going to play my favorite note one more time. I still have air left, but before I end my video, I want to show you again what my belly does. So I'm going to take in my deep breath, watch my belly, and watch how my shoulders don't move. I still have a balloon. So, I hope my video was very helpful for your breathing. If you need any more help, don't hesitate to contact me. Bye-bye, everyone.